Hi, welcome to Tarot Off the Cuff. My name is Kevin Quigley. Kerin Monaco is an intuitive guide, astrologer, and mom. She helps light workers align with each other so that they can serve with more heart and less struggle. Her evenings are dedicated to parenting her extremely spunky little girl and a quirky Italian greyhound.
Hello and welcome to Tarot Off the Cuff. I'm Kerin Monaco, and before I get started and jam on a tarot card, I did want to say thank you to both Kevin and just the entire Tarot Off the Cuff community for holding space for readers like myself to come and jam and talk about our favorite subject on earth, the tarot. Okay, so the deck that I'm using today is Tarot of the Hidden Realm. This was actually one of my first decks, and to be honest, I'm never drawn to it. I'm never called to it, but for this, it was just basically vibrating off of the bookshelf to be pulled from, okay? And the card that dropped out as I was walking over to hit record actually was the Eight of Cups. So a little backstory about why I didn't shuffle live for you guys today. And because I love to be authentic, I love to be transparent. So last week I recorded a video to send over to Kevin. And at the end of it, the sound and the picture were distorted. They weren't synced up either, okay? But the card that I had shuffled and that popped out on that video, because I was gonna do brand new theme, brand new topic, was actually the Eight of Cups. So when Spirit wants something to be shared and spoken about, it will pull out all of the stops. And what drew me in about this card is, you know, typically Eight of Cups is about moving on from something, kind of abandoning what was, maybe experiencing a little bit of disappointment. But what really spoke to me about this version of the card is how the phases of the moon are etched onto the brim. And I know that glare isn't wonderful, but these moon phases just kind of really popped out at me. And specifically when I was thinking about what is it about the moon phases that was really being called to the surface is the phase of the new moon where we're invited to go within, where we are called to really take some rest, to hit pause. And it's funny because you know, I think a lot of times in the spiritual community, we talk about manifesting, we talk about creating from the heart. And one of the phases of the process that we so frequently skip or opt out of is the call to rest. Sometimes when we're being told or called to take no action, we misinterpret it. And so that leads us at times in my work, I've seen this happen frequently. I serve women, I work with the divine feminine, I help them step forward into their spiritual mission, and not to plug myself or my business there, but to really just kind of give a frame of reference. But I constantly am sitting across from women who have abandoned their dreams because it wasn't developing fast enough, or they weren't reaching that finish line. So they thought, oh, not meant for me. Or I speak with a lot of women who are burnt out. They're just over it. They're tired and they don't have another ounce in their cup to pour. Speaking of cups, right? And so often I think that the message that we skip, avoid, resist is the one to hit pause, to relax, to not push through that resistance, but rather to surrender to that flow. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that today and why we are so resistant to it. Because I think we live in a world, and I know I'm not alone in this, I know we all experience this, but we live in a world that would really, if you're not working towards your goal, if you're not taking action, then you're being lazy, or you're not actually doing anything to further yourself into alignment with your highest path, with those ambitions, with those visions that you hold for yourself. And so at times we just think the best way to keep going is to plow forward, to move forward, to move on. And if you think about that traditional version of the Eight of Cups, he's trekking up that mountain and he's got his red cloak on. So he's got that passion with him. But those cups, he's just kind of decided to walk away from them, to abandon them. And this isn't the case for all. Sometimes we do need to kind of walk away from situations, relationships, and projects because they've either kind of expired or they aren't meant for us. But when we resist that time, that call for rest, for giving something space, there's a lot of ramifications. So like I already mentioned, I hear a lot of women talk about burnout, and I'm sure that men speak about it too. Okay, so this is relevant to men and women, but we hear a lot about burnout. And when people burn out, then whatever it is they're working towards or creating kind of loses its sparkle. And that sparkle, the one that we see from it, from when we're working on it, not just when we push it out into the world and let others be enchanted by it. So we burn out, right? And that means we have more recovery time, not just on recovering so that we can immerse ourselves back into the project or whatever it is, but even for moving forward into something else. Not fun, not awesome, right? We also, we tend to stop just short of the finish line. And that leads us with so many abandoned projects and desires that really wanted to be made manifest, but we got tired, we didn't rest, and so we just kind of threw in the towel on them. And I just, gosh, I just love this version of the card. I'll show you again. But when we look at him, he's kind of, gazing off to the side, and we lose that focus, we lose that creative inspiration to stay centered on what it is that we want. All right. And I just feel like the word that always jumps out at me with this Eight of Cups energy is abandonment, and abandoning specifically the things that matter to us. Okay. So maybe sit for a second. You might need more than a second, but sit for some time and just consider, where is it in your life? What is it that you're working on that really needs some space, some time away from it? What's so beautiful about that is, in the creative process as intuitives, that rest, that time out, that space away also serves the desire, so gives it room to become what it most wants to become. Because I don't know if you're like me, but I very much think that when we're whatever we are creating, whatever we're putting our energy into, it has a life of its own. So then let's go ahead and consider how it is that we rest, because rest is not natural for us in the modern world anymore. People think rest equates to laziness or giving up. And what I find with rest, you have to kind of look at it differently than how we have been raised or programmed to believe. There's my dog Sebastian. He loves to make cameos in videos. Let's see, what is he gonna do? He's gonna rest. Good job. Way to set a good example for us. Okay. So how are the ways that we can work with this idea of rest? And over the summer, to be fully transparent, I actually had to go through a big period of rest. I took most of June and July off from my business, really off of life. And I needed to recover. I needed to replenish myself, because I had gotten into an energy where I was really attempting to pour from an empty cup. And we know that that doesn't work. And I stumbled upon, I don't remember the woman's name, but she broke down rest into 3 categories. And I loved this so much. It was so helpful for me. And again, because this Eight of Cups and this idea of rest wanted to be spoken about, there's obviously somebody who's going to catch this video that really needs this message. So one of the easiest ways to rest was through active rest. And the way that you can kind of work with this energy is knowing that active rest doesn't take you entirely away from whatever it is you're creating. It actually just kind of pivots your focus slightly. So maybe, let's take the example of building a tarot course. Maybe you're writing a course, an online course, and perhaps in person, for people who want to learn how to read tarot for themselves. And so one of the things, maybe you're focusing, going, tunnel vision at writing the content, writing about the cards, and you're starting to feel really tired. You're kind of plugging away, but not with the same passion, not with the same energy. So the way to shift your focus might be to start exploring some platforms to host your course on. Or, maybe you start to consider that you've been doing all the writing. Maybe it's time for you to pivot and take the photos of the cards and to play with that. Okay, so that active rest doesn't take you entirely away from what it is you are creating. It just shifts your focus so that you can build another aspect of it. And that was a lot of fun for me over the summer. So an example of what I did was, instead of creating content for one of the things that I run, one of the programs I run, I just focused on doing readings on my Facebook page. And it was aligned with building my program, but it wasn't the same as creating the content. So it just gave me that space, that breakaway that was so delicious and so needed. Okay, then the next one, we're all familiar with the term of self-care. And I know sometimes I hear somebody say like, well, what's your self-care like? And I roll my eyes a little bit because it's something we know we should do. We're not always great about doing it, but so how to fill up our cup? What fills your cup? And this is the kind of more day-to-day tending and resting. So maybe taking the nap, maybe sleeping in a little bit, going to bed early. So maybe it's actual rest. Maybe it's something else like, getting a manicure, pedicure, haircut, or getting to the grocery store. Sometimes I get into the zone of creation and I forget to go grocery shopping, and we know then we start not eating such great stuff. So it could be something like that. It could be as big as going on a vacation. But what is it what self-care could you invite in to help you get that rest right now? Okay, so you can sit with each of these ways and create an action step, something that feels really good, that feels really aligned for you to take in and get that rest. And the final one, I think I have said that all of these were very hard for me, but this one was potent. This one was so eye-opening, and this was finding rest through having fun. And I had been pouring my heart and soul into building my business, being a good mom. I have a little girl. I had been pouring all of my energy into things that felt like work. And so I had to hit pause and think, oh, what is fun? And in the beginning, I was like, no, I am not a fun person. I don't know what I do for fun. And this was really the adventure for me over the summer, was what is it that was fun? I spent a lot of time at the beach, not with my daughter. She went on a vacation on her own to visit family. I went on my own vacation, but I loved to spend time just by the water, listening to the ocean. It was so inviting. It kind of fell into self-care too. But I also found that I wanted to hit pause on my personal, spiritual, and business development and really just read books that were pure joy, that had no deeper meaning to it other than I was smiling throughout every single chapter and every single page. And I wasn't highlighting, and I wasn't then doing the journaling or taking the practices and putting them into my life or implementing them into life. Okay, so what is it that would be fun for you during this time of rest? Okay, so if you are still here with me, and I think a lot of you are going to really resonate with this message, because who doesn't need to rest? Drop a comment. I'm going to be coming back. I love to connect with different people and hear what they're working on, what they're going through. So share just a little bit about what it is you need to take a break from in life. And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be tarot related. It doesn't have to be anything big. It doesn't have to be a creative project. Sometimes for those of you who are parents out there, sometimes it's like, I need a break. I need to take a rest from my kid, right? So maybe that's you. Maybe it's that you just need to take a breather from a relationship, whether romantic or friendship, or from your career, whatever it is, anything goes. And you might need rest in multiple areas of life right now. And then what type of rest that we chatted about would feel best for you or feels most aligned for you right now? That active rest where you're just pivoting your focus, maybe that self-care, maybe you do have just kind of your basic daily living needs that you need to attend to and address. Or maybe you are feeling that call to have a little bit more fun in life. Okay, so let me know down in the comments. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you again for having me, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.
Hi, thanks for watching. This is Kevin Quigley with Tarot Off the Cuff. If you can take a second, click the subscribe button down below. That'll let you know when a new video is posted and you might want to go and watch it. If you hit the thumbs up for the videos that you really like, that will help spread the word so new people will find Tarot Off the Cuff in their feed, and that helps the channel grow. That would be great. And if you got a question or a comment, positive or negative, whether you agree or disagree, or if you want to add information or your own take on a particular card or a particular topic, put a comment down below. We would love to hear from you. Thanks so much.